We all have bad habits, whether it's personal or in business, trying to find out, is there a way to improve that or to basically eliminate that bad habit to make yourself more productive? So as an entrepreneur, I would say habits would be the foundation for a lot of what you do and your productivity and what you get done during the day.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hi, and welcome to the My Future Business Show. My name is Rick Nusky. It's so wonderful to have you with us. Now, I just want to say, as I always do, is to acknowledge you, the audience. Thank you so much for supporting the show. You make all the difference, as does my wonderful guest. Now, on today's show, I'm with Greg Junge. How are you, Greg?
I'm doing great, Rick. How are you?
I'm very well. Now, Greg and I were just talking about my previous experiences traveling through parts of America and some of the sights and sounds that you see. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about his background as a realtor. We're going to be talking about something very, very special that is coming up for Greg in terms of a book that he is part of. And we're going to be talking about this in terms of the people, the caliber of people that he's working with, but also very importantly, his Homes for Heroes program. And we're going to be touching on elements of business. So welcome to the show, Greg.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to get into this, Rick.
Yeah, look, it's been one of those calls. I've been looking over your information, Homes for Heroes. I think that would be a really good place to start this call. Tell us how this came about for you, Greg.
Sure. So I actually joined Homes for Heroes. I think it was December of 2019, and I was just looking for other ways to honestly do some marketing, and this kind of just came about. A couple of lenders that I'm affiliated with here in Phoenix as a realtor, they were just kind of talking about this program, and it just kind of got the wheels going for me a little bit. Me myself, I was never in the military, never a teacher, which is, I'll kind of get into that and the heroes that we help with this program. But I have family members and friends that serve in the military and are in the law enforcement, firefighters, that kind of thing. So it just kind of really got my wheels spinning a little bit, and I'm at a point in my career where I figured, I can give back a little bit, help out others in our community that are, giving back to our community, and essentially doing jobs that I don't want to do or I'm not qualified to do. So I might as well give back the best way I know, and that is through real estate.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, it's most important, they are the backbone of our society, as are places to live. So on that note, how was it that you got into the realtor space, and was it a difficult thing to do? Tell us about that journey.
Oh, sure. So yes, it was difficult. I think any entrepreneur in the beginning, if they didn't say it was difficult, they're probably lying. But yeah, to get into it, I'm actually got into being a realtor in 2015. So actually this month, about 5 years ago. What got me into being a realtor was being a real estate investor in the beginning. So I can kind of start there. Basically, everybody knows what happened in 08 and 09 here in the U.S. The market took a crash. So that was actually when I first purchased my my home. So in 2010, I just bought a townhome. It was just the right time for me. And then at that point, I actually got a dog. So that changed a little bit some things for me, because I realized, having a dog, the dog needs a backyard, and I really wanted to give my dog the best life I could. So with that being said, my parents helped me buy a second home that had a backyard and a doggy door. So my dog Walter was very happy at that point. But I turned that first home into a rental property. So, unbeknownst to me, I honestly didn't know what I was doing, putting together a lease, becoming a landlord. Looking back at myself now, I can honestly say I had no clue what I was doing. But
baptism of fire.
Very much so, yeah. But yeah, I got through it, and then I started realizing, making an extra $200-300 a month on that first rental property. For me, that's when the light bulb went off, and that's really when my real estate investing got going. And then fast forward to 2015, I was just speaking to a buddy of mine who's kind of in that same space, and at that point, I was in the cubicle world, working the 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and I just couldn't picture myself doing that for the next 30 years. So just having a conversation like you and I are right now with a buddy of mine, and he said, well, you know what, why don't you become a realtor? You can help people buy and sell. It'll obviously help you in your investing career. So that kind of got my wheel spinning as well, and probably took me about 3 to 4 months to put together a little game plan, make sure I had enough money in the bank to make sure I can survive. And that's pretty much how I became a realtor. But yeah, it was being an investor first and then realtor second, which I think usually it's the other way around, but to each their own.
There's a couple of things that you touched on there, Greg, which was to do with having that ability to, I guess, unchain yourself from the cubicle. I wonder, with the time that you have spare, what do you like to do when you're not focusing on being a realtor and serving others?
So being from New York, I grew up on Long Island, born and raised, so I'm a big sports guy. I love my New York team, so sports is definitely ingrained, in me from a young age. So I love playing them, watching sports. Obviously, right now with COVID-19, it's not
Yes.
really any sports going on, so it's a little tough.
A little bit slow.
Um, yeah, a little bit slow. That's one of my passions. And again, pre-COVID-19, me and my wife, we love to travel, going to concerts. So those are the three hobbies that I really do value, and I really do enjoy, and I'm really looking forward to once kind of everything gets back to normal or whatever that looks like, to really hop on and really start doing those activities again.
Thank you so much for sharing some insight. It gives context to today's call. I wonder, do you think there is truly such a thing as work-life balance, or is it one to one end of the scale or the other? Do you reckon you can find balance in being a realtor or a business owner, or not?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think so. I definitely like the work-life balance. It's funny that you asked me that question, though. I was listening to a podcast a couple of nights ago, and the gentleman on there said there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's either 100% or zero. So I kind of see both ends of the spectrum. But for me, I definitely value the work-life balance, just because you can get burnt out pretty easily, even if it is something that you're doing that you really love, which for me is real estate.
Hmm.
But I know there's sometimes where I'm working maybe 6 days a week, 7 days a week with real estate. And as much as I love it, I need a day off once in a while. I need to, just turn off my real estate brain and, watch Netflix or go for a walk or just do something that doesn't require any,
Any
you know,
effort?
any effort or thinking. Exactly.
You're a man after my own heart in this respect. We all need a break occasionally. I wonder, from an educational standpoint, Greg, do you find that you are constantly learning, and how important is self-education, self-development in all of this as a business owner?
Yeah, it's definitely high up there. For me, personal development has been just a great tool, and honestly, I've only been like researching and learning about personal development probably for about a year now. So it was like right around summer 2019 where I really started getting into more podcasts and books. Before this call, we mentioned Jim Rohn and a few other personal
Yes.
development people that are highly influential, not just for me but for a lot of other people. So I'm only about a year into personal development, but it's really changed a lot of my habits, a lot of my lifestyle, and I'm sure we can dive into that a little bit more in whichever direction you want to go.
Absolutely. Now, before we do that, I just want to ask you about how you mentioned earlier the coronavirus, and has it changed, I guess, the dynamics of how you relate to your customers, your clients? Do you do a lot more online? Is it still there's still a heartbeat to the realtor space at the moment?
Yeah, so I can speak for the Phoenix market. Right when coronavirus was hitting, everybody didn't know what was going to go on. Obviously, with a lot of uncertainty.
Hmm.
But I still kept some clients through what has it been, 3 months now?
Yep. Time
Um,
flies.
and yeah, no kidding. But no, in the beginning, I really thought my business was dead. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I just kind of rolled with the punches, and yeah, I had some listing clients, even some buying clients that were not afraid to go out and look at homes and walk through other people's homes, whether they live there. Obviously, we took precautions with hand sanitizers and
Hmm.
masks and all that stuff. But yeah, no, honestly, it's been a pretty decent spring. The summer is going to be pretty decent as well. So I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. But if it doesn't, then I'll be pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah.
just kind of rolling with the punches at this point.
It's great insight. Thank you so much, Greg, for sharing. One of the things that I noticed when I was going through, if we can just switch back to this for a second, was the Home for Heroes website, where it talks about that you will go out of your way to make yourself available and essentially customize your client's experience. How important is it to break down this facade that, hey, this is a corporate thing, this is a website, there's structure, and break it down and make it human for your customers?
Yeah, no, it definitely is important. And a lot of people, just in our daily lives in general, I think we get a lot of programs and systems thrown our way, a lot of emails, and to really break through and to really, give that information to the client to make sure they understand that it's, this is not for everybody. There's 5 or 6 categories that we deal with, that the heroes that we try to help. So it really is, it is personal because, helping a teacher versus helping a firefighter, they live in 2 different worlds, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're both giving to our community and providing that value. But they face different hurdles and challenges every day, and we can appreciate them for the different areas of the community that they reach. So it's very important to kind of personalize it and really give thanks and give that value back to those clients that we're helping.
Thank you. I can only imagine the learning curve, I guess the rapid pace of your learning curve when you stepped into the business world and out of the cubicle, if you like. What are some of the, given that the My Future Business audience are startup entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized business owners, what are some of the things that you've noticed to be aware of as you start out as a business owner?
So that's a great question. The one thing I would say would be habits. Um, I've dove into Hal Elrod, The Miracle Morning. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've heard of that, or
Yep.
your listeners have. But yeah, I've been doing that for, like I said, right about a year now, and that's changed my life completely. Just to wrap my head around how habits are a part of our daily lives, whether we recognize it or not. Both good and bad habits. So I would say, as a business owner, for sure, starting those good habits and recognizing the good habits, continuing those, and then obviously we all have bad habits, whether it's personal or in business, recognizing those as well and trying to find out, is there a way to improve that or to basically eliminate that bad habit to make yourself more productive. So as an entrepreneur, I would say habits would be, the foundation for a lot of what you do and your productivity and what you get done during the day.
Yes, this is wonderful. I love this discussion around habits, mindset, and personal development. It is so essential in the makeup of a business owner and what they do and how they deliver to their clients. Now, on that, I want to talk about the legendary Jim Rohn and your relationship with Kyle Wilson. I was wondering if you could share this with the audience.
Sure. Yeah. So Kyle Wilson is or was the 18-year business partner of Jim Rohn. So he actually, he traveled with him. He knows him in and out. And I got connected with Kyle basically over the summer through a couple of real estate investors. And it's kind of a long story, but I won't go into all the details.
Be here forever.
Um, yeah, pretty much. But I ended up joining his inner circle. That's basically an inner circle mastermind for entrepreneurs, small business owners, real estate investors, that kind of thing. And I attended the first event. It was December of 2019, so about 6 months ago. And it was great. It was a live event, and there was about 50 people in the room, and it was just really amazing just to see the entrepreneurs that were in there, how successful they were, but how giving they were and how non-judgmental they were. So it was
They're a
just a
different
great,
cut, aren't they?
definitely a different cut, and I've never experienced that. And I realized this is what I need to experience to really elevate myself and take my businesses to the next level. So it was just wonderful being in that room. And you know what they say, being the dumbest person in the room. I definitely felt like that, and I have no problem doing that because I like to soak in that information and really just learn from others' experience and like to ask questions.
Yeah,
So it
and
was just a great experience.
that's a wonderful philosophy to take heed to, because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're definitely in the wrong room, aren't you? Because you can't grow that way. I wonder now, this book that you refer to, what is your part in this book?
So it's actually a really cool setup. Kyle has done this book, I want to say like 10 or 11 times over,
Mm-hmm.
but he basically takes, 30 to 50 entrepreneurs, and each entrepreneur will write a chapter in the book. So it's, kind of like a conglomeration or coming to a meeting of the minds where
Yep.
everybody writes their own chapter, their own history, kind of like what we're doing, where I'm from, and how did I get into real estate and investing. And this one actually is right around habits. So it's how do any create those successful habits. So once the book comes out, which it should come out in June or July of this year, so any day now. But yeah, it's just a great setup, so you can actually get a short snippet of everybody's background, and then what they're really doing regarding habits, and how that's taken them from maybe rock bottom to super success, or somewhere in the middle there. But yeah, no, it's a great book and a great setup. And obviously Kyle, he puts together a great product, and he knows the right people, and he's just the ultimate connector, and just a great guy, a very nice guy. And I can't thank having that relationship with him enough.
That's wonderful news. I wonder, I look at the process behind the construction of a book. Was it difficult for you to put pen to paper and go through this process? I wonder if you could walk us through that.
Sure. So I always thought, that I had a book in me. I just didn't know what it was going to be. So actually over the summer, I started writing a real estate book, real estate investing book. It didn't go anywhere, but it actually gave me good practice for when this opportunity came up. I was like, oh, cool. Like maybe I'm not ready for a full book, but, Kyle's offering me, I can write a chapter in a book, and, kind of really go down that process. So, so that process has been great. And, him and his assistant, I guess, they basically put the chapters together. So I'll write chapters, or write pages, and they kind of fine tune it. They edit it a little bit, and with my direction, I can point it in the right direction, or add some stuff here or delete. So it wasn't like I was just writing a chapter and I submitted it and that was it. I submitted it to them because they know obviously this process better than I do. So I'm taking their lead a little bit, but also making sure that it is my story and it's my voice. So all the words that are in the chapter, they're mine, but they are somewhat guided a little bit here and there. But no, it's been a great process. Just kind of writing those 2 or 3 pages, and then condensing it down, sending it to them, getting their thoughts, and kind of bouncing it back and forth on each other. So it's been a really easy process. It's fun, and for me, I like reading and writing, so it was just right up my alley.
It came naturally. And there's nothing better than to be in the same party of people who have done what you want to do. That's a major takeaway for people on the show today, because writing a book, although it may be fun, it can be quite challenging for people. I wonder, how did you feel once you knew that you had completed your part?
It felt great. I'm a process guy, so I really enjoy the process of, doing the first draft, emailing it, waiting for them to send it back to me. But yeah, once it was done, fully completed, and, they checked everything and make sure it's all good to go. It was just a nice feeling to know that, it's something I can check off my to-do list, and basically just wait for the book to be produced. And, I told everybody about it. I'm really excited about it. So I'm really excited to actually see it in print, and, blast it on Facebook with the link and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited, and it's been a fun process. And if I asked to do it again, I definitely would.
The thing that I really think about when I talk about this sort of topic is mentorship. I know that you are, you love the idea of education development. Who are you following at the moment? Are you involved with any mentorship groups? Are you reading? How are you developing?
Yeah, so the mentors, so I don't actually have a paid mentor per se, but Kyle Wilson's Inner Circle. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody in there is a mentor to me in one way or another.
Yeah.
And right now we're doing weekly virtual calls. So so it's just great to get on there. So I would say everybody in that community. But as far as real estate investing goes, I follow the Real Estate Guys, which are I don't think they've been on the air for 22 years doing their radio show, and they're just Class A guys. And so they're an unofficial mentor of mine. I basically read their books and listen to their podcasts. I even attend their live events when I can. So between Kyle Wilson, Robert Helms, and there's a few other real estate podcasts that I listen to that I would consider, even though they don't know it, they're my mentor because I'm learning from them left and right.
Yep.
So
This is the beauty of podcasting, I think, is that you can absorb all of this great content. And again, thank you very much for spending some time and sharing your insight. Now, I'm about business systems. You talked about process a little earlier. I wonder, from a small business perspective, is it as important for a single person operator to have, I guess, outlined processes and documented systems, or is it just something you just wing each day?
So I can speak from experience in the beginning. I definitely was just trying to wing it. Being a brand new realtor, I didn't know anything. So I was basically trying everything on my own, which knowing what I know now, I would have like slapped myself in the face for trying to do that. But I didn't know what I didn't know. And
Yep.
So to answer your question, yeah, definitely systems, whether you're a small business, whether you're a solo entrepreneur or a bigger business, like a McDonald's, they have a system for everything. So yeah, I would say systems are huge, whether you think it or not. Creating a system for, your sales pipeline or even your daily regimen of, like we're talking about the miracle morning, setting a time, maybe an hour a day to get your head right and kind of wake up before your family does to get that quiet time. That's part of a system as well. And so yeah, I'm a big systems guy. I love systems at this point. If I implemented them a little bit earlier, I'd probably be a little bit more successful at this point. But
It's a journey.
it is a journey. I can't really complain. And but I'm a big fan of systems. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is one of those calls where it gets to the meat and potatoes of what entrepreneurship is really all about. We've talked about mindset, we've talked about mentorship, we've talked about your involvement with this book, we've talked about so much great content. It's been an absolute privilege. Now, when people want to reach out to you, Greg, how do they find you, and what is the process that you take them through?
So the best way for people to find me, or when they usually find me, is through my website, and that's the Homes for Heroes website. But I actually have my own. It's phoenixazheroes.com.
Yes.
So that's the best way for people to get a hold of me. And that's not just for real estate clients, but it has my contact information on there as well. But for somebody who's looking for a home or looking to sell through the Homes for Heroes program, there's a lot of information on that website. And then you can obviously get a hold of me and, speak to me directly, ask me those questions, have, those frequently asked questions, and how the program really works, whether you're buying or selling. And I'm not going to get into the weeds of that, but that's the best way for people to get a hold of me. And, every client is different. They have their different needs. So that's kind of the fun part of being a realtor is, sometimes you're working with renters, sometimes you're working with people that have bought and sold homes left and right, so they know what they're doing. So that's kind of the fun part is you never really know what you're going to get, and every person is different personality. And, sometimes you become friends with people, and other times it's just a client here and there and that kind of thing. And that's cool too. So it's definitely, it's a fun game to play for sure.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. Now, for everybody who's on the show with us today, I am absolutely positive you've taken away some nuggets of gold because Greg has been gracious enough to share with us. So thanks again, Greg. Now, I will be making all of the links back to Greg and his work at the phoenixazheroes.com. And in closing, Greg, thank you so very much for spending some time with me on the My Future Business Show today.
Great. Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate it. Had a blast.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.